Hi, my name is Megan, and I'm here today with Sammy the Snake to talk to you about snake biology. Sammy is an Eastern Black Kingsnake. This species ranges across part of the southeastern United States and can be found in dry terrestrial habitats, such as wooded or rocky areas, or in dry prairies. This snake is semi-fossorial, meaning it spends part of its time underground. Notice how Sammy's head is rounded and the tip of his snout is blunted. This makes it easier for him to push himself underneath the substrate. In fact, when I return him to his tank today, he'll probably immediately start burrowing beneath the substrate and hide there for the rest of the day. Kingsnakes belong to the genus Lampropeltis, a word which means shining shield. If you'll notice, Sammy's got very shiny scales. They're rounded and smooth, so the name is very fitting. Not all snakes have these smooth scales, though. Some species have ridges down the middle, known as keels. So right here, I have a model of a copperhead snake. It's a venomous snake that lives in the same range as the king snake. And notice the keels on the scales. So the tiny ridges down the center of the scales. Copperheads typically are found in more swampy areas, and the keels help them to stay upright whenever they enter the water. Sammy, on the other hand, is a terrestrial snake, so he lives on dry land, and he doesn't need keels. These smooth scales make it easier for him to burrow beneath the ground. So let's talk about why they're called king snakes. If I were to put Sammy down right now and go pick up another snake, the other snake would get really scared and try to flee as soon as it smelled Sammy on my hands. This is because king snakes are ophiophagous. Ophiophagous is a word meaning they eat other snakes. King snakes even eat venomous snakes such as copperheads. And they're immune to snake venom, so if the copperhead bites Sammy, he'd be alright. King snakes are colubrids, or constrictors. So when they find a snake or a rodent, they'll wrap their coils around the prey and strangle it before consuming it. All snakes hunt using olfaction, or their sense of smell. If you noticed earlier, oh, there he goes. If you'll notice, he's flicking his tongue out, and let's see if he'll do it again. Well, you probably noticed that he had a forked tongue. There it is. So this bifurcated tongue picks up chemical signals on the ends of the forks, and he pulls his tongue back in and inserts it into an organ in the roof of his mouth known as the Jacobson's organ. This Jacobson's organ takes in the chemical signals and sends more signals to his brain and allows him to register what's in his environment. And in this way, he's able to take in information, so he can tell if a mouse has run past or another snake. The tips of the fork are very sensitive, and they can even register the amount of chemicals on each side of the fork. It's about time to feed Sammy. Now, Sammy gets fed once every 10 days. So, depending on how large the snake's previous meal was, they could go for extended periods of time without eating. So as I said before, Sammy eats about once every 10 days. He's a captive snake, so it's easy to control the amount of food he gets. During the winter, he enters this hibernation-like state known as brumation. During this period, he doesn't eat at all, so he goes about half a year without eating. Now, I know a lot of people are scared of snakes, but the more you know about them, the less scary they can seem. Snakes actually play an important role in the ecosystem. They provide food for other animals, and they control the rodent population. Did you know that by controlling the rodent population, snakes are inadvertently controlling the tick population as well? Having snakes in your area can actually reduce the chances of you getting Lyme disease, so they're great to have around. And copperhead venom is actually being used in cancer research. So snakes are good animals, and it's important to respect them and to protect them. Okay, it's about time to put Sammy back in his tank now. I hope you enjoyed getting to meet him and to learn a little bit about snake biology today. Say bye, Sammy.